back on the airwaves. Let's continue where we left off. So in the last stream we had got ourselves an async trait, which we can find here. Async trait repo reader, which is our dependency that we can then inject in to the real and the test. So the next small thing that I wanted to do is just shunt this into a different file, because I was thinking about having a file for each type of injection that we can do. So let's call this async trait injection. Don't ask me about Git, I don't like that. So I think I should be able to take everything but main. Let's move this down. And then take everything out of here and put it in here. See if it builds. It doesn't know what this is. So, oh, we don't need that. Don't know if we need any of these. Might need that. So this is a bit gnarly. We're saying that main can return a request error. Really, we should wrap that up, because we're leaking the internals of the dependency out. So I might tidy that up to give us a nicer error, maybe. But I think these two we don't need in here. We do need in here. Okay, that's better. Now we just have the two things that it doesn't know how to find. Now, how do we make that available? I can't remember. Which one was it complaining about first? Repo analyzer. Is that enough? Nope. Oh, I need to get better at Rust. I'm going to go and look at my other project and remind myself how to do this stuff. So in main, we import things like this, and in these are all in lib. Maybe we need to do the lib thing. So lib then publishes the modules. I think as soon as you move out of main, you have to start messing around with crates and lib. But let's just do a quick Google. Do something kind of naive. Let's see what kind of things. Modules. I'm not the only person who finds this a little bit confusing. This is definitely a getting going with Rust kind of question. Yeah, so this is the same thing. They've got main. They're trying to read hello. And they're trying to work out how to do it. So they put use hello and then the mod, and it says I've no idea. And then they've tried more things. automatically namespace in the module to include the code from hello main use motto. Okay. So I may have overcomplicated it in the other one. So this is already available as a module. So I think that might be enough. Oh yeah, we need to make the error available. These use statements make it really obvious that we're leaking internals. Import. Okay, now we've got the module referenced, we can import the thing. But it can't find that. Maybe we have to make that a pub now. Oh, we have to actually import that. This is private pub, I think. There's another one that's private. So now we're accessing it from elsewhere. We need to make these available. The trait is private. You put reader. Oh, that was interesting. It found it from just selecting it. That's kind of handy. Although kind of didn't work for navigation. So we're starting to find our public interface for this. So we've got our test, which is still working. So now main just has, this is a bit like setting up a microservice. I should put note. Hope my sound is good. I've got an audio I've got a compressor running and a noise suppressor. So when I'm not talking, it should go nice and quiet. That's the idea. So. So this I don't like because we're leaking request error. Actually, I would like my interface to say, yeah, this is request error. I'd like it to say actually it's some other error. And wrap it up. Not quite sure the best way to do that. I don't really like flattening the errors to strings. It's a bit yick. Probably need to do a bit more research in exactly how to nicely hide the errors of encapsulated things. So put a to do up there. Okay, just put a note, come back to that. That'd be good to tidy up. Alright, is this good enough for a commit? So main, so you could make this command line argument if you want to. I'm not going to, so it doesn't really matter, and it's just extra complexity I don't need. Is there only one? Yeah, I might inline that now. Inline, remove variable, because that's just a little bit less to read. Okay, I think that'll do. I could do with that, setting up the run in the IDE. I might see if I can do that, because I don't think I've got this set up. Run. Oh, maybe I do. Oh, I do. Magic. I didn't do anything to make that work. It just worked. That lives in configurations. It somehow figured that out. Or maybe I created it and didn't realize it worked. I don't know. So it's cool. We've run the tests. We've run the real thing. It's all still good. This is where you really want an end-to-end test, so you don't have to manually run it to make sure you haven't broken main. And I could add one. I do have one in Gitopolis that works. So that would be kind of cool. But I think it's a distraction for now. Is my preview not working? Ah, there it is. Okay. I think that'll do for that refactor. So we got main that calls the async one. In fact, I'm gonna give that a name. That's probably a bad name because it's exactly the same, even though that is the thing. Run async trait. So how about run with async, insert that archaic key that nobody uses. Where did it go? I don't think that worked. I think that probably broke it. Is there a shortcut for this? Run, Control F5. Yeah, it did not, the refactoring did not succeed there at all. No, 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 not even close. Run with async trait. I might put the print here. And then my main can just be a series of So we need to make that still error, and we want exactly the same signature because we're going to succeed or with no output or error. Don't need that anymore. And we need to return OK with this empty thingamajig. I forgot what they call it in Rust. It's really important to keep everything nice and simple. You really don't want long procedural things. They very quickly become hard to comprehend and maintain. And the intent gets lost. And by naming things, putting out little functions with a nice name, you really get to show the intent without introducing comments that can go stale. It's a really good technique. Right, okay, so that's still working. I won't have broken the tests because I didn't change them. So main, I'm just reviewing my own code. Run with async trait, await, and then, okay, we're done. We can exit the CLI. Run with async trait. And what this does is it sets up the analyzer with the dependency, and then it runs it, and then it just spits the result out of the console. Because we're in the main file, that's fine to do that, because this is the thing that's actually tested. And you can see the usages by asking it to show usages, and you can see the one in main, analyze repo, and then you can see the one in the test. Very handy, and this is why I like all of the typed languages more than Ruby, because you cannot do that. So that's cool. Right, I think I'll consider that good enough for a commit. This is not the easiest diff to read because it basically moves a bunch of stuff. So it's even more important that we drop some hints in here. Let's run a format as well. Just tidy that up. I've got it set up to do cargo format and run a get diff so I can see what's changed. All about iterating that workflow to be tidy. Move trait injection file module reference the new module from main, make needed parts of new module public. What else do we do to this thing? Refactor main one function call only in order to show intent and ready for adding more, and to do for not leaking west error. Another quick check. Something that's kind of cool to do is you can go cargo test and cargo run and git push. You could say do all of them, and then basically it will stop if anything errors, which is cool. Right. One little refactor out of the way. What's next? Let's just have a quick check on the restreams. Check the stream on your social platforms. I do appear to be streaming. Right. Oh, God. So, am I going to tackle the request error, or am I going to tackle adding a different type of injection? I think I'm going to tidy up this request error because it's bothering me and it might affect the others. Ah. So, quite a lot of tabs I've got open. I think we should get rid of some of these. Close to bottom. This is tree size tab, which is cool. What's that noise? Something made a chat noise, but I have no idea what. I've got so many things open. What could it be? Oh, I think it was Slack. Yes, it was Slack. Distractions. Alright, what was I doing? I was about to Google for Rust encapsulate error. Let's try that. Yeah, lots of things. Might have to just like try a few and see what looks good. I very much dislike medium. Errors, no, we're not gonna, well, we could panic, that would be one way of doing it. We could just bail, like, oh, couldn't do it. That would be a simple thing, given that error handling isn't really the point of this. So at this point where we go question mark, we're bubbling that up. Instead of doing that, we could panic, which is not idiomatic. So that would be one way of doing it. We could flip that out for the expect, and then we wouldn't have to figure out how to wrap it. I think we might do that. That's going to be the quickest thing for getting the demo of injection. I don't know. Let's have a look. Matching on types. Unwrap or else. Panic. If we do kind of want to propagate, just there's too many demos that like use bad practice just because it's quick, and then it confuses people who are new. So I think probably we should. So what we can do is we can make an error type. So we can say what would it be? Reader error. And we could say, in this case, like inner is a request error. And then that way we can map so that needs to be pub, so we can read it outside. And then where's our interface? Trait. So let's think. So that needs to go all the way up. So it's really inside this analyze repo map error. Oh, what was the syntax for this? Oh, I can't remember. So we're going to turn a new reader error, which has got an inner of E. Something like that. What did we end up with? And then we still need to blot it out because it maps the error, but it doesn't do that. So now this is going to return a reader error and not a one of those, and that just propagates all the way out. We can't read that, so we need to import it. Right, now at this point we can make this continue if something falls over. So what we can do is, instead of having main do that, we can go we want to go, if we got an error, we'll like print it. Actually, no, we don't need that at all. And that is no longer going to return an error. That is just going to succeed because we're now going to right, instead of doing the question mark, we're going to what's the syntax? We're going to decide what to do. Okay, So what are they doing here? Match thing. So let's try that first. So let thing equals, yeah, no, we don't want to let here. So maybe we can just do match. Okay, and then it's like string. How does this work? Okay, oh, you give it a name. Output. And then we're going to put that in there. Put that in there. It's no longer a semicolon, it's now a column. No, we don't want one of those, we want error. And we're going to just do I wonder if we can get away with that. Nope. Now, somehow we need to get that to just print. And we go like, I wonder if we can get this to print standard error. We want to like two-string that. Gonna have a quick look. Rust print standard error, because in Unix you should print to standard error and not standard out when something is wrong. Eprint line. Oh, that's very easy, isn't it? Eprint line. And then you kind of want to indicate that this fell over. So you never want to just, like, there's a temptation here to just go print it failed, but what we've done there is we've hidden the reason it failed, and that is a pain when it actually fails and you have to deal with it later. Now, so we need to get this to like implement display, and that I'm not sure. Rust error implement display. We're going to do this then. It needs to implement display. Format. Right. That's the debug. We don't want to use the debug one because this is legit output. Okay. So let's be a bit more ambitious. Rust wrap inner error implement display. Yeah, so this is where they are. Yeah, okay, cool. They're just delegating because the inner one already does it. Nice. So we just need to import format display in this error type, wherever that's gone. So reader error import display. What was it? Import, oh, format display for reader error. I think I just ended up with it. something else I didn't want, but format will sort that out for me. Implement members, thank you. Formatter, right, so there's a better way of doing it, which is an enum and not a struct. Enum, which can be API error. Oh no, that is a struct. Yeah. Can I use an enum with someone else's thing? Okay, that's wrapped. Okay, so I'm guessing we can't just skip to that. But instead... So have they done that? Dot dot dot. They've removed the bit that I wanted to see. Boo. That would have been useful. See option box error. As ref map. It's not quite what I want, I don't think. It's a GitHub issue. Ooh, what is this? A macro. Huh. Interesting. Don't want to dive into a crate right now. It would have been nice if they'd said what that was. Can we work it out? How are they just passing that? And why is that not one of these? PayPal error. Then an error from request library. Oh, that's like their own thing. If I create an enum, that's an API error that is a... What does that mean? That is kind of what I'm looking for. How did they end up with that? Maybe that's a thing that we can just use. No, they've defined it. Maybe this is a bit of Rust syntax, I don't know. Let's try it. Request error. Is that valid? I'm assuming that's not valid. What's this complaining about? Expected struct var, or you found enum. don't quite know how this works. I think I need to read the docs on enums. Enums are interesting things. Yeah, it's this. What is this? So they defined fee for... Okay, so they just define them as part of the enum. But in this case, they're putting some stuff inside it. So if I go back to, where's the error? Reader. And then how do you initialize it? Brackets. Right, so that's because that's one of the possibilities of this enum. And it's defined as taking that. Oh, nothing but warnings. Get in there. It's all good practice, this. Don't need to say that. Because you know that. It thinks that's a typo, which it isn't. I'm going to stick that in my dictionary. See how much we've changed, and let's run the format, see what it does. It's tidying up the imports and the spacing. Cool. Lots of unused imports. And now in main, unused, because we're no longer leaking it. Hurrah! Didn't end up needing that yet. All that. Haven't used that yet. That's it to do. So reader error at the moment doesn't need a switch. Or does it? Oh, maybe it does because it's an enum. So match self, and then it'll be like read error, request error, e. How do we map that? Where was that thing? So you lose your tabs. Right. F format string. F exactly as is. E. No. Not quite. Where's the one that we saw the matching in that was kind of cool? Match self. Is that better? Oh, I might be about to get noisy here. It builds with no errors. It runs. What was the tests one? Tests. Run these. Alright, what did that complain about? Read error doesn't implement debug. Do we need it to? What do we need it to? expect. So our test has been a bit dumb. Because we're just blowing up. But actually, let's have a quick more googling. Rust assert not error. What we got? Map error expected. Yeah, that's really what I'm after. Yeah, we could just implement debug. That would not be the end of the world. There's always multiple ways to do these. Derive debug. That was the wrong keyboard shortcut. Just switch to terminals on Linux, which is not what I was trying to do. Okay, that runs. And test. And oh, look at this. All these different things you can run. Have not broken it. Slightly lost track of what I was doing. So, what are we doing here? We are hiding the error. So in the thing that we depend on, we have to make an enum of the errors that we might get. Reader error probably needs to live somewhere else. But it will do for now. We have to implement display so that you don't have to know about the inner error. And now you can just tell it to format the inner error. So, oh yeah, let's test this. So if I go and break this by fat fingering the API, we should see that. Oh, it panicked. So what exit code did we get? 101. Yeah, that's a proper panic. That is not what I was hoping for. That's disappointing. What about if instead of changing the URL, I go... It's probably going to do the same. I don't think it's checking the exit code. The HTTP status code. Ah, yeah, we've got an expect here. Map error. So we've got something else that can fail. How did we do that before? Reader error. And it's not one of these. It's something else. So what can this be? Expected. We need to know how this can blow up. It's not as string. Where's it gonna die? Result T. How do we know what error this is going to be? Let's try just sticking a question mark on the end and seeing what it says. Maybe it's going to tell us the types. There we go, it's 30. That's the one, so we need that available in here. Where did that get defined? Right, let's make that a bit more clear. Can I take this off? And then JSON error, 30 JSON error. Now we need another branch on here. No, not one of those. Yeah, look at that. And then that's exactly the same. Oh, it's not called E. Get stars. Oh, that's the wrong type. It needs to be able to return a reader error, not a request. This is good. This is flushing out all sorts of things where we're leaking our internals again. Yeah, I'm doing the map error in the wrong place. Whoops. So actually, that should just map out. Right, so this is trying to, so this is the client builder. Right, now we need the map error on all these. Map error E becomes a reader error E, which should work because it's just a wrapper. Oh no, we need to tell it which one. Yeah, you need to tell it it's that one. No method name get, and then we still need the question mark because having mapped it, we need to then just have it go further up. Cool, so we can just grab that and do the same in the other places this can fail. Is that a request error? That's a request error. That's probably a request error. We shall find out very quickly, and that is not a request error because that is underlined E. That is a JSON error. Ta-da! Coding. Hard work, right? Still have to know a few things, even in this age of GPT. Having played with the GPT, I'm not convinced I want to use it for this kind of thing. Run it and test it. If you haven't come across double ampersand, then it checks the exit code of the previous command, and if it is 0 it will carry on, and if it's anything else it will stop, which is very useful. If you want it to carry on, you use semicolon. So the tests are broken. That's that one. I'll get this to run the tests. Have not got the hang of the keyboard shortcuts here. Yeah, Control F5 is not a good keyboard shortcut because that is a clash with Linux. Right, so this now needs to return reader error. Okay, that was easy. Okay, because we've got debug, we can now just lazily say expect. So we're still on track to hide the request error. So the dependency of the dependency should not be something that the code in main knows anything about. And now it doesn't. It runs it and it gets an error back, and then it just prints it, and because that error implements display, it works. And no, that's not going to tell me the type. But analyze repo, returns reader error. Cool. I think we're good. I think we might call that an iteration of the code. So do we want to explain this? Wrapper for the various types of error the dependency can encounter, so that the business which is repo analyzer, I wonder if I can wrap with this. GQ, no. And then this. Right, now I think this should mean it doesn't panic anymore. Maybe? Depends if we've still got any expects in there. Alright, let's break this again. Alright, that is not panicking anymore, but we don't want an exit code of 0, I don't think, because that's a bit ick. So let's just make main a little bit more intelligent and say what do we want to say? Might be getting carried away here. I kind of want it to exit with code 1. So is anything wrong? Maybe I'll just move this out. So it'll do the print line, but then it'll also return like an OK or an error or something. Return OK. And then, is that going to change it an option? Yeah, there we go. And then this one. Return error. Now, okay, I want to collect it up. I don't want to do that. Unwrap or that needs to be mutable. And then if failures, I don't know, exit 1. Okay, it didn't know how to do that. Consider importing thing. And that is, maybe we need to make that the thingy error. What do we call it? This is definitely in the wrong place. Reader error. Reader error. Right, so we've got the error out. Did it error code? It did. And if we fix the API, nope. Failure sign to failures is never read. Ooh. Clearly I don't know how to write Rust. If failures, so mute false, and wrap or. Why? Maybe I'm getting carried away. Maybe I'll just... Maybe I'll not do this here. Maybe I will do this here. And then this can just return it. Do we want the string to come out? Making a mess. Coding. Making a mess and then making it tidy again, and then people look at the result and think, why did that take you so long? It's been ages making it tidy. What am I trying to do here? Am I even thinking straight? So I'm wanting to do a run. But I'm kind of mingling the print logic. So if I make that, so let's forget about that. So print or error, and then for now we can just exit. So instead of doing that, we'll just go exit 1, and then we can come back to adding more capabilities later. Right. Getting ahead of myself. I fell foul of the you ain't gonna need it rule by trying to code for when there was more than one before there was more than one, which is almost always a mistake. Right, so xcode 0. This is where it would be quite handy to be able to pass it in. But that is definitely getting carried away. There we go, got our exit code. So what that means is you can go and echo it worked. And you don't get it when it's 0, when it's 1, and you do get it when it's 0, which is cool, because now you can programmatically detect errors. Many things. Right, how are we doing? What were we trying to do? We were trying to hide request error from main. So we had request error and it was leaking, and now we have read error, process exit, because we've decided to do the exit codes. We now match and either spit it out or we say it didn't work and we quit. And now this thing says string or error, and we don't do the print in here because that's messy. We just do it straight in there. Cool. I think that's good. What else do I need to do to this? Encapsulate. This is a refactor, so let's call it that, refactor. I like to mark them as refactors because they don't change the behavior. Oh, actually it's not a pure refactor because I've done the exit code. Encapsulate. Encapsulate. and set exit code. Change it and don't panic on failure. Exit code 1 on error. Error text to standard error. And I think we can test that. Let's check our tests are still good. Let's just double check that the standard error thing is working. Because I think if we go less, we don't get anything. Oh, that's probably not a good idea because it's. How do we force it to do a page? I want the opposite of this. To make it always show the pager. Oh, do you know what? I'll just spit it to a file. That's pretty easier. CR temp foo cat. Okay, so we got nothing because it was in standard error, and then if we do the same, is it working? We get no output, and we get it's gone into the file. Whoop whoop. Cool. This is my commit sensible, encapsulate request error, and don't panic on failure. Always read your defs. What if we could just chain the whole damn thing? Possibly could. I'd probably still have to do the map error though. Cool. Another chunk. What's that? Been streaming for an hour. So again, a nice tidy project. So no more leaks. It just does main things, just does CLI things. And then we've got a nice single method that encapsulates exactly the thing that we want to try variations of. So what did we end up with? Somewhere to put the return data, a wrapper for when things go wrong, formatter for that, the business logic, which I might rename, just to make it easier to follow, and then the dependency with its actual implementation. I might call this get styles async, get styles from GitHub, so that it's super clear. That moves this to the top. Yeah, let's move this to the top, right? It's just a bit of tidying up. Right, there's a structure saying, yeah, this is kind of cool. Real repo reader. Should we rename this? No. I might rename that one to something like oh, it's hard to read, isn't it? I don't know, it's kind of okay. I don't really want to make it too ridiculous. Alright, I think we'll run with that as it stands. So a little tidy up. Nothing much here. Run, test. Should do format first, really. Format, test, run, push. See, how cool is that? And then you can make an alias for that. You could call it like ship it. I think you can like even do it from like here. It's literally like how do you ship it? I don't how do you use alias? I don't know. Maybe it only shows the aliases. Anyway, you get the idea. Right, I think I am done. 100% done with trait injection. Wonder how I document a file. Don't know. Still a comment. Demonstrates. What are the things? Oh no, not pull requests. Repo reader. Cool. Right, now what did it suggest next? I think I might go and take a break. Might stop the stream, go take a break. Thanks all for watching. We now have a nice, tidy, encapsulated async trait-based dependency injection. And I think we're ready to add a different approach, which we will pluck from what GPT told us to do. So what have we done? We have done trait injection. So we did it slightly differently to how GPT suggested. So GPT has suggested that we actually use generics, I believe, to make the dependency changeable. But instead of that, we have done a boxed dynamic. So maybe we will do, maybe we'll rename it to boxed. What else have we got? This is kind of the same. Oh, there's a box new. But they've still made it generic on that for some reason. Why has it done that? If you're gonna do, what does that do? They're using new, but they haven't implemented new. Oh no, they have. It's there. So that's just the same as creating a struct. So this is a convention in Rust to allow newing up. So this is a slightly different way of doing what we've done here when we've got a new repo analyzer. We've just explicitly said this is the reader. So we could implement new and say, hey, you can do it this way. Maybe we could show that with the same, maybe if we'll implement new and just do it there. So if we go to the implementation of this, repo analyzer, we can go pub new, which returns a self. We don't have to name it again because Rust is amazing. And then literally just repo analyzer, and then gonna need the repo reader. Which is a we're not going to know what type it is, so we have to do this. And then we can go so here we can go run with async trait new, and then new, and instead of that we'll pass it in. We still need to box it for it. We run our brackets, so we run our brackets. Where's new? So again in the tests we can do this. Just duplicate the whole test for now. With new, and instead of that, new. And now I should stop complaining. Oh, yeah, you're right, that is never used. So let's do it with that one. This is where we end up being told off by GitHub for DDoSing. This is a bit yucky because it's not very DIY, and we need to get rid of that exit now. Oh, we could not. That would also be fine. Doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, that works. Cool. What if we give it a different repo? Could be like super self-indulgent. $68. Wow, that's coming on. So show use of new to inject dependency, making new available is a convention in REST. Right, that's that. Now, make it maybe a bit more similar to what GPT said with the generic. So it's not actually that immediately obvious how to do what they've said here. So this is exactly the same. I need to go. I might have to do for today. I quite like to leave myself a little to do. So I remember where I got to, I don't check it in. Right. Time to go. Cool. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of that. Ping me on any of the channels that you see fit. I'm pretty easy to get hold of. I'd love to know who you watched, what you got out of it, what you liked, what you didn't like. Tell me what you think.